People are really starting to freak out over the spread of the mysterious coronavirus. China has now locked down 3 cities to curb the spread of the deadly virus that has killed at least 17 people now and infected more than 600 worldwide. So meantime, the virus, which is, by the way, described as pneumonia-like, is reportedly spread more easily from person to person than we previously thought. And the man in Washington state that I know a lot of you have asked about, who developed the first case in the U.S., flew from China. He had at least 16 close contacts before he was placed in isolation, according to officials. Watch.
The patient is a male in his 30s. He is still under observation at Providence Regional Medical Center in Everett. He's been very cooperative with our continued investigation.
The outbreak continues to spread with cases in Singapore, Vietnam, and now 5 people in Scotland are being tested for the suspected illness. Al, a lot of people, a lot of our DBL Nation are freaking out about this. Do you think that mass hysteria is warranted here, or do you think that this is something that we can be prepared for and contain?
I mean, I don't know if we can contain it at this point.
You don't think so?
No, I think if maybe a month ago we could have, but it seems like they knew about this a while ago. They didn't lock everything down for a couple weeks. That allowed some people to travel, and I think it's out at this point now. We already seen our first case in the U.S. Now, our question is, how do we protect ourselves? And I think, for the most part, people sitting on this panel, we're all fairly young, relatively healthy people, but this can affect, as I just had a sick child or an older person, this will affect certain people. I have
or
a family,
pregnant woman, very low immune
anybody
system.
That's immunocompromised is at risk. So we do need to be very careful about this. And just because it's not, I think when we watch the movies and people are kind of dropping off and dying, and it's very, people don't worry as much about something that's a little bit slower moving. But trust me, as somebody that had a family member that had West Nile, and I saw the effect that it took on their life, taking almost 3 years to get back to who they were. I mean, it's a big deal. So it should be taken seriously.
Yeah, China has 1.3, 1.4 billion people alone. So they're shutting down cities, which is scaring a lot of people. But there's so many people there for it to spread to. You know, I'm trying to put numbers to this thing.
Close proximity.
I'm not saying it's not serious, but I think we're doing what we can to prevent the spread of this. It seems like every once in a while there comes a scare like this. Speaking of pregnancy, I remember the Zika virus was very prevalent. We were supposed to go down to the Caribbean, and we didn't. You know, we didn't. So you do things you can to prevent this. I think, like you said, it's dangerous for the elderly, for young people, for pregnant people. But I think we're doing what we can to prevent this. But I think there is a reason to be scared. But I think we'll
and
be
a
all right.
source that I talked to earlier, I can't disclose the source, who's very well connected to the hospital where they are treating this individual. They have their protocol down pat since Ebola. So they acted immediately. They feel like that they've been able to contain it. I know that we just reported that 16 people may have had contact, but they feel very confident. So I think that should give some people some reassurance.